Hey, y'all, and welcome to the Your Friend in Cyber podcast. I am Leslie Cruz, your host, and today we're going to get into TikTok. If you are watching this on YouTube, you'll get to see all of my facial expressions. And if not, thank you so much for tuning in via Spotify or Apple Music or wherever it is that you are listening to your podcast. I really appreciate your support. So I was scrolling on the internets and Instagram to be exact, and I came across this post and had some feelings about it. The headline is quite interesting. It says Texas governor announces plan to ban the use of TikTok. Now, people in the comment section were really hot about this. So you had one person that's saying, wait, what? Okay, that's a valid response. Another person says, how about we address the price of eggs, inflation, theft, murder, police brutality, homelessness, and being in the middle of a recession? But I digress. Let's ban TikTok. Yeah, okay. To keep going, I don't want to read too much, but the one that really got me was this one. They want to blame this on the Chinese, but really they're terrified of us sharing information, forming new opinions, and banding together. And what really got me about that was not that this person, you know, didn't have something valid to say, okay, whatever. What bothered me was that you did not really read what was happening in order to form an opinion that made sense and share useful information. And okay, so was that mean to say? Maybe. But I recognize that people do not read. And as much as we want to talk about how, people are influenced by social media, like, yeah, this is exactly how it happens. So it seems like this person is saying, yeah, they want to blame the Chinese, but they're terrified of us sharing information and forming new opinions. But see, what use is an opinion if it isn't contributing to you learning anything? Like, if it's not, if you're not using your brain to actually take in all of the information to form an educated and thoughtful opinion, how is that really helping you? How is that doing anything but putting you in a situation where you're mad at everything all the time, but you don't even know what you're mad about? So, what I wanted to do was take a look at this and pretty much break it down because one, people don't read, and two, people don't really understand what things mean, and that's okay. Like there's nothing wrong with not understanding, but there is something wrong with not understanding and then pretending like you do just to kind of be a part of the conversation, right? So the tweet that was highlighted says, "Today I'm announcing a plan to ban TikTok in Texas." Okay, that's kind of that looks spicy. It looks spicy. I can't even deny it. It's critical that state agencies are protected from the Chinese Communist Party as they work on behalf of Texans. Learn more about my plan to keep Texas secure, and there's a link there, right? So there are a couple of things happening here, right? It says state agencies are protected. So it would kind of make me think, all right, so what exactly are you talking about? Are you trying to ban TikTok for the entire state of Texas, which, for the record, that would be really hard to do, not impossible, but really hard to do. It's not as easy as flipping the switch. You would have to work with all type of like service providers, and it would be a mess. But it's not impossible. Heaven knows, China is doing it, and other countries are doing it too to prohibit people from having access to certain content and doing exactly what this other person said, preventing people from communicating and sharing opinions, right? But that's not really easy to happen in America. Again, not impossible, not easy to do. But anyway, so just reading the context clues, okay, we're talking about state agencies. Could there be something there? And if we want to keep looking at what the article says, Governor Abbott announced a statewide plan banning use of TikTok. Okay, so again, hot take. But it goes on to say Governor Greg Abbott today announced a statewide model security plan for Texas state agencies to address vulnerabilities presented by the use of TikTok and other software on personal and state issued devices. State issued devices is something that is glaring. So I understand the whole part of like the personal devices kind of, oh, that's kind of, wait, does it mean that I can't use it on my personal device? Keep reading. The Texas Department of Public Safety and the Texas Department of Information Resources developed this model plan to guide state agencies on managing personal and state issued devices used to conduct state business. Full stop. What the governor of Texas is trying to do is keep people who are using their personal devices. So bring your own device. BYOD is something that a lot of companies are doing to save money on paying for devices for employees. So instead of, company XYZ giving you a company issue cell phone, you use your own cell phone. However, there are restrictions that may be placed on those state employees who are using their personal devices to do state business, which makes perfect sense. So this is not something that people understand so much outside of like corporate world, or like if you have a company that doesn't allow you to go to certain websites on their devices, but this makes perfect sense. If you are using any device that is issued by the state of Texas, if Texas gave you a laptop, you can't get to TikTok. If Texas gave you a computer, if Texas gave you a iPad, you can't get to TikTok. If Texas gave you a smartphone, you can't get the TikTok. And it's not hard to do for individual businesses in the state of Texas. And that's what he's trying to do. He wants to make sure that the people who are using state issued devices and devices that are used to conduct state business are not exposing Texas information and data to an adversary. That's it. If you have a device and your device is vulnerable to somebody, I don't know, seeing where you are at all times. If your device is vulnerable to uh, a third party reading what's the contents of your device, and I'm not saying TikTok is doing this, but if your device is vulnerable to this type of threat, I'm not going to allow you to use a weak device to hold my important information. And as citizens of America and the citizens of Texas, you should not want an adversary to have any potential access to information that is important. It's just like, playing spades or playing chess or something like that with your back against the mirror and the opponent can see exactly what you're doing. You don't want to do that. Like, don't leave yourself wide open to being taken advantage of. Don't leave yourself wide open to attack. Don't do that. And that's what's happening here. But people, again, don't read, and people don't really understand what the whole state issue thing means, perhaps. It means people who work for the state of Texas. If you're checking email from your state account on your phone or your smart device or your laptop, you cannot use that device for TikTok. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't use TikTok at all. That just means you can't use it on this device. It's not a umbrella blocking of TikTok for the entire state of Texas and all of the citizens of Texas. Again, that's not easy to do. It's not. Now, people in China and people in like parts of India and parts of Africa, like, yeah, they do have the ability to say, you're not getting to this, because on a government level, they've blocked it. They have negotiations, they have understanding with these internet service providers that say, guess what? This is not allowed in this state. And if you are in violation of it, we're going to come down on you. Simple as that. But in the United States, it's not that simple. It's not. And even to the state, with the fact that and even with the governor of Texas, if you actually read what he's trying to do, and I'm going to pull this up. So this is from Texas.gov. This is the actual plan that he's proposing. When you look at the scope of it, it says this plan applies to all state agencies and institutions of higher education, including their employees, contractors, interns, and any users of state-owned networks. Each agency is responsible for the implementation of the plan as outlined in this document, including any changes to meet specific agency needs. So, even with this being what he's saying, it's on these individual organizations, the individual state agencies and institutions, to enact this policy. He can't say at a flip of a switch, y'all can't have access to TikTok. No, he's telling these individual agencies and institutions that you need to put this in place. Whatever content filtering capabilities you have to keep people from accessing TikToks on these state issues devices, you got to do it. So it's not a flip of a switch. It's not this like overarching, oh, I'm just going to say you can't do this and I'm going to mandate it and I'm going to control it. No, he's relying on the other people within the state of Texas to make sure that Texas information is protected And I feel like people don't appreciate that enough. People don't appreciate that. People get upset when you see a headline that says things are going to be banned, but you don't understand what the safety of it is. You don't want someone accessing your social security information. You don't want someone accessing your state benefits. You don't want someone that's like looking at your information and they could be vulnerable to some sort of attack. You don't want your information to be exposed. If you want to protect your information, why wouldn't you want the third party to protect your information too? And that's really all he's trying to do. I definitely think that we're going to see this more. I definitely see that we're going to see other states starting to come together to put restrictions in just to keep adversaries out of government business, keep adversaries out of state business, keep adversaries away from the American consumer. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you like this podcast, please give it a thumbs up. And I'm looking forward to talking to you next time.